LinkedIn is an absolute goldmine for speakers if you know how to use it correctly. I'm talking consistent $3,000 to $7,000 virtual opportunities, as well as high as $20,000 and even $25,000 paid corporate opportunities for established speakers if you know how to use LinkedIn to generate qualified leads and speaking opportunities for your speaking business. And today I'm revealing the exact framework that's generated multiple six figures for both ourselves and our clients that we work with over at SpeakerScale. What's going on, y'all? Joe Johnston here from SpeakerScale, where we help stuck speakers build predictable speaking revenue engines through proven speaker business systems and processes. And today I'm breaking down our complete LinkedIn mastery framework, how the LinkedIn algorithm actually works in 2026, how to optimize your profile, what types of content to post, and how to do outreach that books discovery calls and paid speaking opportunities utilizing LinkedIn. So let's hop right into things, and I'm actually gonna hop over to my computer here to talk a little bit first about how the LinkedIn algorithm works. And so historically, how the LinkedIn algorithm worked to my understanding, was basically all off of likes, comments, and basically time and speed to your content and your post. And so essentially, if you posted something and you told a bunch of your friends or you told a bunch of your team members, whatever it is, go to my profile and essentially like it and put a bunch of comments to it, then the LinkedIn algorithm would essentially say, hey, this dude knows what he's talking about. He's getting a bunch of likes and engagements. Let's push it out to more people. Now today, and I'm going to share an article from a dude on LinkedIn here. So this is not my article, obviously, as I'll show you. But today, how the LinkedIn algorithm works is essentially, it has stopped counting and started reading. So I'd highly, highly recommend check out this article by this guy, Richard Bliss, who's a LinkedIn expert, and talks about how the LinkedIn algorithm has stopped counting and has started reading. And so basically what he talks about is LinkedIn shifted from a mechanical scoring system to an AI engine that is now called 360 Brew. And instead of counting signals like likes, comments, and dwell time, the AI is actually reading your content for understanding, and it's evaluating context, not just keywords. And so basically what it's doing is, to my understanding, you can go through this whole article, I'll link it down below, is the LinkedIn algorithm has basically said, hey, we only want to be pumping out content that is actually legit and that is aligned to someone's brand and their actual expertise. And so what it'll do is every time you post a piece of content, it is going to basically look at the content, it's going to compare it to your profile, it's going to compare it to your followers, it's going to compare it to your past experience, it's going to compare it to other content pieces that you have. And if it's in alignment, it's going to push it out organically to more of your ideal audience, right? And so it doesn't really matter how many likes, comments, whatever it is, it's really judging on the content. And is it quality? Is it expertise-driven content? Are you someone who can actually legitimately talk about this content? Or are you just a bullshitter who's just trying to get likes and comments and has used the algorithm in the past to sort of blow up your profile? And so it's legitimately reading the article, and it's legitimately reading your content. And I'm gonna link this up here down below. But that's incredibly important to understand, right? Because we now understand that if we're actual legitimate experts as speakers and we're solving problems, and you go through this LinkedIn mastery framework and you set up your profile in a way and you're creating content specific to your expertise in a way that's actually showing your expertise, then you're not gonna have an issue with this. And organically, you're actually gonna do better on social media, you're gonna do better on LinkedIn. And so this is actually a very, very good thing for those of us who are actually legitimate experts and posting content on our pillars that speak to our profile and that everything's lined up. So that is number one that we need to understand. Check out that article, read it. Again, I'm not an expert on this. I'm not big into the algorithms. I never have been. I've always been about just posting quality, thought leader-driven content on LinkedIn and providing value. It's a very, very interesting article. Now, let's go through the LinkedIn Mastery framework that we teach, which is basically broken up into 3 different parts. And I'm gonna hop over here to my iPad to break down those 3 respective parts. When we look at LinkedIn, we work with all of our clients. We're looking to basically the formula that we give them within the LinkedIn Mastery framework is a 3-part formula, and we're basically optimizing 3 different aspects. Now, the first thing that we are going to be optimizing and that we want all of our clients optimizing for is their profile and what their profile looks like. So there's a specific way to optimize your profile that's going to be better. And it's not just putting keynote speaker in the title. There's a way that you can optimize every single aspect of the LinkedIn profile to make it look more efficient and to be in a better position as you're growing out and you're about to do outreach on here. Now, the second piece to LinkedIn is something we already kind of briefly just talked about, which is going to be your content. So again, similar to how having a profile set up in a way that's gonna give you better responses, there's a way to set up your content and to be posting content, creating content on LinkedIn that the LinkedIn algorithm does favor, right? In ways that LinkedIn likes to see content presented and it's gonna post it out to those further, and that really favors that type of content, that sort of structure of content. And then the last piece to LinkedIn to make it effective is actual outreach. So having an outreach system that works and that's producing positive responses and that's ultimately producing calls. So it's your profile, it's your content, and then it's your outreach system on LinkedIn. And so we're gonna break down each of these over here by actually showing you some specific clients that we've worked with and their respective profiles and the content and the stuff that they're doing. Cool, so let's pop over here to a couple of profiles. So pop to mine. I don't even think mine's the best example because I do two different things. So let's actually go to one of my clients. So Dr. Angela Holiday Bell is a client that we worked with. We helped her go from about 20K a year to 150K a year in speaking revenue. She actually left her full-time job as a doctor to be a full-time speaker and coach and a full-time mom, which is what she's doing a lot of now. I don't think she's speaking as much as she did in her first year in working with us, but she is someone that really showed us the power of LinkedIn. When Dr. Angela came to us, we really weren't even teaching LinkedIn that much. We were teaching it a little bit, but we did not have it down because she was the individual and the person that really showed us how powerful this was. And it was like every week she was booking more calls. She was booking 3 to 4 calls a week, if not more, on LinkedIn. She was closing deals off of it. It was just ridiculous. And so let's start with the profile, right? So the first thing when it comes to profiles, you have to have a high quality headshot. Make it professional, make it specific to you and your brand. I think from, really the kind of here on up, the torso up is a good place. Make it professional. You can see here, she has her doctor lab on. This is a great headshot of her. Shows her who she is. Nothing fancy, just simple, straight to the point. Next is going to be really just this top of fold piece here. And so what we got here is she has a little bit of a background, which I like. There's different ways that you can do with this with banners. If you need help with a banner, feel free to reach out to me. I have plenty of referrals, people who can do it for 100, 200 bucks, make you a really quality banner. You can see she has a testimonial here. She has her job here, 5-star reviews. She has a call to action here, and then she has her expert positioning statement. And this is incredibly important when we get into her profile. So she has her name, she has her experience here. And by the way, this profile is not perfect. Like along as we go through this, I'm gonna say, hey, here's how I would optimize here. But for the most part, she does it really good. So right here is really important. She has her headline immediately here. I help corporate professionals develop wellness strategies to maximize performance and decrease burnout through better sleep. Now, the reason that we do that is because when you go in and start doing outreach, I don't have any pending invitations here, but let me go to my connections. Look at the first piece that you see when people come in here. And so even this guy, help leadership teams perform under pressure so they can execute clearly when it matters most. This is good. I would like to actually see that first. And people, I want to put keynote concert artists first. That's fine. I really like to see the expert positioning statement first because people want to see what you do. They want to see very clearly at the beginning what it is that you do, especially when you're doing outreach to them. And then after that, she has all of her different pieces. So she's a physician, she's a certified sleep specialist, she's an author, sleep coach, professional speaker, all the things that she does. Next, here is a link to book the call. This should take them, to her Calendly, very cool. This can take them to the website. You can say, see more of my speaking work. You could go, show me my, speaker reel, whatever it is. Here we can connect. I have sales now, so that's in there. So this is one thing that I would actually optimize. So we used to teach this, and this is why Dr. Angela did this, is really have like a solid about that tells everything about you and is basically like your about should just be kind of just talking you up, right? And while I don't disagree with that and having an about section that's like that, we actually teach something different that you kind of make your about sort of like a VSL. And so what you do is you kind of go into, I don't know if Jordan still does it here, but you basically go into who you work with and here it is. Most agencies will use AI to grow revenue. The best agencies will use AI to grow profit. That's the playbook for 2026. And so what you basically do here is you just go all into who you help, client pain points, what they struggle with, who you've helped, what you've helped them do, what you've helped them accomplish, and then you have a call to action at the end. And so there's a little bit more of like an in-depth framework here that we have when it comes to your about section. If you want to go this route, I think it's fine. I am more of the position though that, hey, make it about who you help, what you do, their pain points, who you've helped do it, your framework. And so you're kind of getting folks down the funnel a little bit more. And as they go deeper on you, they can see, how you can help them specifically. Cool. So as we get further down the profile here, there's a services section. I don't really use the services section. Let's talk about the featured section. I think the featured section is very, very incredibly important. What I would include on the featured section as a speaker is a link to my demo reel. I would include a link to my website. I would include a link to anything valuable. So like Dr. Angela has Sleeping on the Job, right? If your book came out and your book launch, I would include that in there. If you had a post that, like, we have a couple posts, I have a couple posts that like really talk about who I am and what I do. And having done two things, it's like I really have to clarify, hey, there's two businesses I have, here's how we support the speaking industry. And so I pinned that post and I featured it. If you have case studies, I'd throw them in here, right? A link to your case studies page. Choose on Dr. Phil, like throw that in there, right? So your featured is literally your featured, your content that tells about you the most, that credentializes you the most, that links them to your website, links them to some piece of content that is just like the crux and the ultimate. If you could have one piece of content to show anyone that shows what you do and it encapsulates it, you want to feature that there. So that's what we're going to do on the featured page. Let's go down here. So experience, and then we're going to get into more of the content, and then we'll get into how to run outreach. So experience here, it's great. Show your experience, show where you've worked. Again, you can kind of talk a little bit more of how you help people within your company as a speaker, folks that you've worked at, all that stuff. Let's get into the content, and I'm actually going to pop over to one of our consultants here. And Dr. Angela does content very well, don't get me wrong, but Coach Chris is our client who actually helps all of our clients with their LinkedIn, their marketing, their branding, positioning. He runs a Wednesday group call with our clients. And so, yeah, I like how he does his about section. I really like this. Again, some of my topics include, he's just a little more specific versus with Dr. Angela. His featured section is great. I stole this from him, like the thumbnails here that he has. For speakers, he runs two businesses too. For speakers, for organizations, right? So it's very, very clear. You can see how he helps different clients and different ICPs that he works with. And then the content. So Coach Chris, I've talked to him, he lands most of his gigs, like 70% of his gigs is kind of inbound from his LinkedIn and from his content. And so here's what we recommend. And so I'm just gonna show a piece of content, is an image, whether it's like a Canva generated image like he does here, he does this really well, with value attached to it, or an image of like you in like an actual like kind of picture of you with content attached, is what we have found. Like this. Okay, cool. This is a very, like, this is about him getting married. It was kind of a personal post, but still that humanizes him. I love that. Yeah, so here's what he does really, really well, and you can see this stuff pops off, is, again, you need to be like expertise driven, right? So it's very basic. He has a Canva post, like he literally creates these Canvas. He puts this in here, and then he gets deep into the expertise around that post. Dr. Angela did this so well and still does this so well. And it's why she crushed on LinkedIn when she first started working with us. It's because her stuff would pop off, and organically she would be generating new interest, new eyeballs. We've been seeing this more and more, is organically, and then we're doing a little paid stuff on LinkedIn, but we're getting so many eyeballs because we know how to post deep thought leader content. And someone that comes in here, if they're reading this content, they're warming themselves up. They already know more about you and what you do, and then people they'll comment, and they're basically raising their hand saying, hey, either I like this is valuable to me, or I'm a potential buyer, right? So this is really, when it comes to content, there's more nuances to it. Make sure that it's obviously aligned with your expert positioning statement. So all of Chris's work is around either the work that he does for speakers or disability inclusion and change, but really, this is the type of content to be posted. It has to be thought leader driven, expertise driven, and then with an image attached, whether it's a Canva image or whether it's a image of you on stage or whatever it is. So that's that. Let's talk about the last piece, which is outreach. So very, very simply, I'm not going to go through the titles and that stuff of who to reach out to, but basically what we do every single day on side of LinkedIn, what my team does, is we're going to get titles. So let's use like disability ERGs. And there's ways to do a booing search or whatever the fuck it is. But you're going to basically search for folks. You're going to find their titles. Come over here to people. It's very basic. It's not anything crazy. Come to filters. You can filter them more. We like to do second and third connections because we're doing cold outreach here. And this is important to just bear in mind, which is that you can do all this stuff, but if you're not doing outreach, like, you're not going to close gigs. I mean, you might, but it's unlikely. So here's what's going to happen. For whatever reason, I don't know why Premium's not up. We have Sales Navigator, and I don't know why. Okay, I don't think we have Sales Nav on the profile right now for some reason. But essentially what you're going to do is you're going to search folks here and you're going to connect with them. And what's going to happen is they're going to accept your connection request. And as they, not all of them will, but a decent amount of them will. When they accept your connection request, you're going to message them and you're going to hit them with an outreach message. So my DMs is a lot of different folks. We have a lot of inbound. Who's this guy? So this is us doing outreach to speakers. Let me see if I can find one. All right, I can't find one right now, but essentially what you're gonna do is when they connect with you, you're gonna hit them with an outreach message. We hit people with 2 outreach messages. So one, initial one, they don't respond within like 2 to 3 days, we hit a follow-up message. I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of our outreach messages. I think we literally have a whole LinkedIn lead gen system and how we do that. So I'll link that video below, but this is the LinkedIn Mastery Framework. So again, LinkedIn is the highest converting platform for booking paid speaking engagements if you have the right system in place. Remember, it is profile, content, and then outreach. And if you want the full breakdown outside of LinkedIn and how LinkedIn fits into our lead gen system, outbound system as a whole, I'm gonna post that video below, as well as our LinkedIn lead generation system and video that has produced multiple 6 figures for us and our clients. And if you're ready to implement this system, as well as all of the other ones that we help our clients implement, and building it specifically for your speaking business, go ahead, click the button below. You can apply to work with us. You'll grab a 15-minute call with me or my team member, walk you through a little bit more of what we do and see if we can help.